What's up, everybody? We're back. We are the Channel 135 podcast. The podcast we talk about our favorite things in life, movies, TV shows, and pop culture. I'm your host, Cams, and I'm here with the brother from Ranui. What's up, Eric?
What's up, Bert? Back again already.
Back again already, man. Already here for another TV show. We're here to talk about Andor season 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
I'm liking how they're releasing 3 episodes a week. It's a bit long because you have to watch them all. Because man, I can't leave one. I can't leave one episode and go to bed. Like I have to watch all 3, man, because it's there.
Man, I tried to watch all 3 of them last night, but I think I got up to the first one, 4, and then I slipped through the second one. I was dead. Man, I didn't feel good yesterday, so I just crashed. So I watched it. I rewatched them this morning.
It's been like that, like this kind of story. How much of a slow burn it is. It's a complicated story. It's funny because a lot doesn't happen, but a lot of context does happen. A lot of background, a lot of planning, and a lot of, like when I say planning, I mean building up the goals that each of the parties in Andor have.
Yeah.
Like there's so many intertwined goals and missions and counter missions and pushback that you can't really take it all in one hit. You gotta actually think about what's going on because there's so many characters with so many agendas within the main agendas.
Yeah,
it's that kind of film, and
that kind of show. Parts.
And it's you put it all together, it comes under the category of spy, thriller, espionage, and all of that stuff. James Bond kind of shit without the all-out action, but intriguing. It's a puzzle. I think it's a puzzle. A lot of it is a puzzle, jigsaw puzzle. It's complicated. A lot of information. There's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. 3 hours, man, is a lot to soak up.
Yeah, exactly. To soak up and just trying to organize it in your head. And I'm glad we do these recaps, man, because these recaps sort of, especially the ones I read off online, helps understand or put your thoughts, puts them in the right place, so you can sort it out. But no, man. But before we get into Andor and spoilers, we checked out a trailer, and this is off a movie that's coming out in August 8th, I believe. It's called Weapons, and it's directed by Zach Cregger, who did the horror movie The Barbarian. And The Barbarian came out with a group of new horror movies like The Black Phone and Ari Aster's movies, Hereditary and Midsummer Nights. So these are new kind of horror movies with new directors that are bringing these new styles out, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good, pretty well written. And The Barbarian, man, I saw that. That was good. It was a scary movie.
That was fucked up, but it was good.
Justin Long, he was awesome. To be that asshole, he was the asshole that and not to be the bad guy at the end. But you get hit the last girl as well. So yeah, it's good to have these kind of horror movies with good storylines. So Zach Cregger, he directed Barbarian. This new movie is coming out. He also directed and wrote as well. And the premise looks freaky. Yeah, the premise looks freaky. So apparently, how it goes, if you watch the trailer, it's about a small town in America, and there's an elementary school, which is primary school, and the kids in one particular classroom disappear one night. And so at 2:17 in the morning a.m., these kids wake up from bed, go downstairs of the house, and open the door and run outside into the night, and never come back, never return. And somehow they're all from this one classroom at the school. So, and they never come back. So they're missing kids. But the images, you see in the trailer how the kids are running with their arms out like airplanes.
It reminds me of detention at intermediate.
Attention. How?
They had to run around the field with your arms out. Oh, your hands up in the air. That's what I was getting when I was watching the trailer. I was like, fuck, this kid's on detention, man. Oh, shit.
Well, it's pretty freaky if you see it. And like the silhouettes say in the night. It's pretty freaky.
Fuck you.
So you wonder what happened to them? Maybe they got taken away by. I think they got taken away by aliens, eh? Because
mind
I've
control.
noticed in the trailer in the classroom, there's planets hanging at the back. I
Ooh.
saw like, like the solar system.
Yeah.
So
Man.
maybe it might be aliens coming down.
Fuck that.
Because it's a
That's
weird name for a
freaking
movie.
nuts.
It's called Weapons. So what does that mean? Who's a weapon?
Is it the government using the kids as weapons or?
Shit.
Fuck.
Are the aliens using the kids as weapons? Because
Man,
when you go through the trailer at the last bit of the trailer, you see the action scenes, eh? And they sort of snap shots, and some of them are freaky. Some of them, I think there's a guy with black ink all over his face or something.
I thought he was getting stabbed the fuck out of his face. Like his face was just gone and it was just.
Well, there's the other scene when the girl was sitting there and stabbing her face.
Oh man, I was like, bloody hell.
Weapons. So, what was your thoughts?
Freaky as fuck. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it on the big screen. I might do just to get a scare, but I'm not too good with horrors that well. So if it's too fucked up, it resonates with me for days.
Mm.
It kind of freaks me out a bit. It's way too sensitive. But yeah, I might check it out just for the looks.
I love horrors. Horror's my favorite, man.
Oh man,
I love going to the movies when it's jam packed and it's horror, man. Because the reactions of the crowd is priceless, man. I might try and see if I can go on the premiere when it's the first week.
yeah.
So make sure the movie's packed. Probably go to town to watch it, eh?
Oh, at the IMAX.
Not sure if it's gonna be an IMAX movie, but I
I
want to
don't
go to a movie theater where it's gonna be packed.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like watching a horror movie in a packed crowd, man. That's the best experience you'll get in movies. So we'll talk about we're gonna talk about Andor. So, man,
Change of gears.
change of gears. And really a real change of gears. Because when you think of Star Wars, you think of Darth Vader, you think of Luke Skywalker, you think of lightsaber battles, you think of the spirituality of
The Force.
of the Force
Yeah.
and its power and the midichlorians and all that kind of mystical universe, the mystical universe of Star Wars, which is absent in the Andor series. Now we're back. We're like in a human level here. Andor season to me is authentic, and the story writing is out the gate because it's for the first time, and I think I described it last week that everyone on social media is calling it the adult Star Wars.
Yeah.
That the writing and the story and what we've seen is nothing like any other Star Wars content that's out there, right, man?
Yeah. It's definitely next level.
Next level in terms of story. Because whether you like it or not, the genre here is a spy thriller. And when I say spy thriller, I don't mean James Bond, because that's action packed. But this is like a political thriller, a political spy thriller, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of it has got to do with the origins of the rebellion. And we're seeing, and that's what I like about the series, because we're seeing firsthand what it's like to start a rebellion, how hard it is to start a rebellion, and what sacrifices you have to make to start something like this, to go against the rulers of your world. In this case, the Empire. The Empire is ruling the galaxy. How do you fight back? If you're the oppressed, how do you go about fighting the Empire? Basically, fighting the government. What do you do? And it looks like it starts from the top. So a lot of these politicians, a lot of these senators that disagree with the Empire somehow formed like a pact or a plan to overthrow the Empire from the inside out. So I think we talked about it last week, where the rise of Palpatine inside the Republic Like he comes up through the ranks of the Republic, and when he reaches the top, he turns into Empire, reveals his true self, and turns the whole Republic into the Empire, right?
Yeah.
So the Empire rules, and there is representatives for each planet, right? The senators. So if you're a senator and you want change, you can't get change because it's ruled by dictatorship. What do? You start to form a rebellion. How do you do that? You got to get the right people. You got to get money. You got to develop a war chest. But you got to have the right people in place. So we've got Mon Mothma, who's a high senator that's opposing the Empire, secretly is part of the rebellion. And we have Luthen, who's like the guy that's putting the action forward. So he's like the action guy. And Mon Mothma is like the waiting to step in to be the leader. So I think you need a leader first and foremost, but you need someone to action all the stuff going on.
Yeah,
the leader has to hand it over to someone who's equipped with sending the troops out, sending everybody out to do the missions, and to make sure that all the shit in the background is being done while the boss lady, Mon Mothma, is at the top, like disguising it, helping disguise what's going on, right? So
yeah, she's protecting all the politics of it.
Yeah, that's right. So we're not seeing a fully complete rebellion yet. We're seeing the start of it. So we're seeing certain people in places where they can start it, right? So that's what's interesting to me. What's interesting to me about Andor is that whole play on how the rebellion starts, right? So you got to organize, and I think they're not organized yet. They're still in bits and pieces. We saw that with that first episode with those dumb rebel dudes down in Yavin, where Cassian has to like try to survive because they can't
guys play rock paper and scissors, bro.
Rock paper and scissors. They can't sort themselves out, and they end up fighting each other, and they split into two, and they start killing each other. It's like, what the hell? So I think that's a metaphor to what the rebellion is right now.
Yes.
No one is in charge, or well, they're starting to get people in charge, but everybody's scattered. The rebellion is scattered. There's a lot of people in the galaxy that oppose the Empire. How do we get them to join the rebellion? How do we do that?
That's what I was mentioning, I think, in the last episode, where there's all these fractions and they're all going against the Empire, but no one's got to them yet and put them together yet, or made them join the rebellion in that year. You're starting to see this now. And like even in these next couple of episodes, they're trying to, should we take these guys or not? Are they organized enough to be in our rebellion? Can we trust these guys? Kind of thing. And yeah, it's pretty out of it. But I had never thought that it took that much sacrifice to create a rebellion. So what you see in Star Wars A to what they were trying to be, it's like, holy shit, is this what it took? Where does Princess Leia come in? Like when everything's all organized? Wow.
Well, you see, like you just said it. When we were kids and we first saw Star Wars, right? The rebellion's already there.
Yeah.
It's already there. The rebellion versus the Empire. Like we don't really get to see the whole rebellion. We pretty much know what the Empire is. Like we get to see the stormtroopers or the foot soldiers there. Darth Vader's like the henchman, second in charge, and the Emperor is the head honcho of the whole thing. Then you got the officers, because we know the uniforms. We know the uniforms. We know what the TIE fighters look like. We know what the Star Destroyers look like. So we know all their stuff. We know the gears, right? We know the gears. We know the hierarchy in the Empire because they're everywhere, right? They rule.
Yep.
We don't really know who the rebellion is. We just know the X-wings. We know Leia's the head of it.
Yeah.
Even though Mon Mothma's there, so yeah, we don't really get the total structure of the rebellion there.
Yeah.
And they seem to be always moving places. Every time the Empire sees their base, knows where their base is, they have to move. They have to move their base. And then operate from secrecy, right? So if you ever had questions of how the rebellion started, it's an easy thing to think about. Oh, yep, there's good guys and bad guys. Andor has proven it's not that simple. Now we're
No.
getting a detailed story on how a rebellion starts, how a rebellion begins, and it's more complicated than you think. Because
Yes.
right now, we are just seeing guys running around causing trouble for the Empire. And it's put together by Lufrin, who is, man, he's an awesome character, man. Lufrin is like he's a bad guy for the rebellion. Because he's ruthless.
Yep.
He's a guy that knows the big picture and wants the big picture and disregards anything that's insignificant, which Cassian believes it's not. Like sometimes they have their arguments because Cassian doesn't think about the big picture. He thinks
Yeah.
about here and now and like, oh, what if we do this? What if we do that? But Lufin, he doesn't even care. Like he will say, you know what? I will kill 10 people to save fucking thousands. He's that kind of dude, eh?
Yeah, and he will do it too. And you know, like, and how you see that compared to what we know the Republic as when we were young, and it's fucking totally different.
Well, they're good.
Yeah, no, it's out of it. It's fuzzy when I think of it that way because, like, for where they've started to where they end up, it's like it's a totally different crew, and it's like shit, all the shit they went through to get there.
I mean, if Mon knows what she wants. Mon wants a rebellion. Mon wants an uprising to combat the Empire. Empire doesn't know there's rebellion yet. Deidre might know. She's the one that sort of found out, sort of put it together in last season. But there's things in place that are trying to make it happen. And Mon doesn't want to deal with the dirty shit. The stuff that you need to get your hands dirty and get down behind the scenes and get things done. Because if you don't do this way, you're going to lose. Lufrin knows this. Lufrin knows that the way you start a rebellion, you got to crack some eggs to make an omelet, bro. He's that kind of dude. And he's tricky, man, because there's those scenes. I wish you had the spoilers before we talk about this. Another thing interesting for me is that a lot of these characters we see in Andor, we don't see in the Star Wars trilogy, right?
Yeah.
We only see Mon. Really?
She's the only one there. She was the one with the plans of the Death Star.
That's right. And so everyone else we don't see. So I'm wondering if they all die before that happens. Because, especially someone like Lufrin, because he's a real powerful character. He's like the guy Mon knows will get stuff done. Mon relies on him. Those two, when they meet each other in social events, he's like cunning, eh? He's like smiles. He's like different personalities, eh? He's that ruthless dude.
He's always got an agenda at the back of his mind. Yeah. He's always playing two things at once. He's like the middleman between the senators and the actual soldiers that are involved in the rebellion.
So I guess we'll do the recap and start doing the spoilers. So so we're gonna do spoilers. If you haven't watched Andor, go stop this podcast, go watch it, come back and listen to us break it down for y'all. All right, let's do the WesWes recap. So episode 16, Ever Been to Gorman, directed by Ariel Kleiman, written by Bo Willimon. 1 year after the incident on Mineral, Cassian and Bix have become active operators for Lufrin and hide out on Coruscant. Though Bix is still beset by nightmares of Ghost, on Gorman, the Empire begins building an armory. Cyril, with Deidre and Patscare's backing, takes up a position on Gorman and pretends to be sympathetic to the rebels' cause to feign being successfully recruited. Upon learning from Young that Deidre is secretly working on the planet, Lufrin sends Cassian to assess the rebels. Ullman is tasked with teaching one of Saw's men named Pluti to work extractor as part of a fuel heist. Mon Mothma unsuccessfully attempts to rally support to kill the renewal of a bill giving broad power to the ISB, Imperial Security Bureau. Player learns that, episode 5, I Have Friends Everywhere, written by Ariel Kleiman, written by Bo Willimon. Claire learns that Skeldon intends to search his gallery room after one of his pieces turns out to be a forgery, threatening to expose a bug she planted in the room and forcing her to extract it during his upcoming party. Andor, Cassian, connects with the Gorman rebels and learns they plan to intercept a weapons shipment, but he deems them too inexperienced and shoots down the plan, much to their frustration. Zoro reports back to Coruscant with news of the heist, with Patgaz and Deidre agreeing to let it go through to empower and control the rebels. Saw kills Pluti after learning that he's a traitor and instead has Woolman work on the extractor and the fuel heist. Episode 6, What a Festive Evening, directed by Ariel Clayman, written by Bo Willimon. Cassian insists that Gorman rebels are unprepared and argues with Luthen upon learning that he attempted to persuade Bix to return to action. Luthen chastises him for his short-sighted vision and instead sends Val and Cinta to help the Gorman rebels pull off the heist. Val and Cinta fully reconcile and rekindle their romance. The heist is successful, but Cinta is accidentally killed by one of the fighters, much to Val's despondence. At the party, Krennic and Mothma calmly debate. Meanwhile, Clea manages to extract the bug using Young as a distraction. Bix and Cassian break into Gorst's new office and kill him using his own torture device. That was your WesWes recap. Two things I've noticed in season 2 that you've never ever seen before in a Star Wars movie. One is they imply sex. They imply rape. They have a lesbian scene.
Yeah.
They're implying sex stuff. Like there's that scene with Deidre and Cyril when they meet, when they come back together, and Deidre says, "Turn off the lights," and the lights go off, and then that's it. That's the first one. The second one is Cassian and Bix doing like a dance, touching each other's hands and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
there's that too. Then we have the lesbian scene between Val and Cinta. But there's a lesbian kiss in Rise of Skywalker, right, at the end when the rebels celebrate.
Oh yes, yes, that's right.
So yeah, something we're not used to in Star Wars, but it's coming through.
Yeah, it's leaking through the gaps, eh?
Leaking through the gap. I have no problem with it, but it's interesting to bring it up because the Star Wars we never can see those sort of things happen. But like I said, this is Star Wars without the Jedi, without the mystical, spiritual, fantasy stuff, and just straight humans trying to battle it out, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, these 3 episodes told me a lot about and the way where we're heading, and the tone. And I guess what I appreciated was if season 1 was just a build up, season 2 is actually okay. We're well into the spy shit now. Cassian is doing work, and we even skip a year. So beginning of episode 4, it's a year ahead. So you've got to keep that in mind because a year ahead, a lot of relationships have grown, right?
Yeah.
So especially Deidre and Cyril, they're together. They're a couple. I'm not sure if Deidre's tricky enough that she uses them. I don't know.
Yeah, I was quite shocked with that. Like, I didn't expect those 2 characters to get on, but they did. No, unfortunately, they have. And my other thing is maybe Deidre is only playing them, using them as a plaything. She can be like that. I'm sure she can.
Because they do send him down there as a spy, so he's sort of pretending to be just doing some work down there, and he ends up meeting with the rebels who talk French, and it looked like World War II. They have the French resistance, and the beret. And when they start wearing the berets, they are the French resistance, So I think that's where that was coming from.
Yeah, they're totally inexperienced too. You can just tell they're just rushing.
Yeah,
like it's like, oh shit, we're too late. Well, might as well do something.
So yeah, that So I actually forgot about that. The year. So a lot
Yeah,
of these
me too.
relationships are grown. So it's funny because without the year thing, you would think to yourself, "Man, they're like going fast." Yeah, my main takeaway from these 3 episodes was how complicated the story is, right? And I
Yeah,
mentioned that before. Like you gotta actually remember whose agenda is what agenda. So we know that the Empire is looking to finish building the Death Star. They need all the shit, right? They need all the shit to make Death Star. And we know that one of the stuff they need to make the Death Star is a mineral that will cover the guns or whatever it is,
yeah,
the
the
lenses
lenses.
or something like that.
Yeah, for
And
the cannon.
yeah, that's right. And the only place to get this mineral is from Gorman, which is this planet they're on. So the objective is to get this mineral, but how they get this mineral is their concern. Like, what's the plan here? Because, like you said, when they find this mineral, they're gonna destroy the planet, right? So,
Yeah, it's gonna deem it unstable once they finish drilling the shit out of the planet.
but that's what I didn't get. I didn't get why doesn't the Empire just go and kill everyone and just grab the mineral? That would be easy,
Maybe
right? What do they need to? Or are they doing this to find out who the rebels are?
no, I think it's more of a political stand front, for the entire galaxy. Like if if they share that kind of force, maybe the rest of the galaxy will make it easier for the rebellion, I guess. They have
Yeah, true.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's what Lutheran
to
was
have
talking about, eh?
allies. To have allies.
That's what Lutheran was talking about, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why Lutheran is ruthless because he didn't care about the Gorman people.
Nah, he just
Yeah,
like Cassian said, like, oh, you don't care. You just want get your agenda. And he goes, what happens if they burn? Because then they'll burn brightly. And I was like, fuck, ugly.
that's
What
what
a
I
thing
mean,
to
man.
say.
But see, that's got to do with the perception of making the rebellion legit. Like that's
Fuck.
what Lutheran's saying. He'll sacrifice all these people in Gorman if it shows that the Empire are evil, killing all of them.
Yeah,
If the galaxy can see that the Empire did all this and all these people died, then they'll have second thoughts, eh?
yeah.
And then
All
those,
out of
like
this.
you said,
Yeah,
it'll be easy for the rebellion to take up all these allies. So in a way, he's a sacrifice dude. He doesn't care. He just wants the end game. So he's the
fuck.
guy playing chess. He's playing chess, man. So
Yeah,
that's
he's
why
making
everyone
moves.
else is pawns.
Yeah,
So he will sacrifice the pawns to get his ultimate goal, right? And that's the interesting thing about Andor is that you gotta play dirty to get what you want. And if you think the rebellion are all good guys, then you gotta do some bad shit to get where you are in this world.
yeah.
In this world, this reality of living in this world, right? There's no bad guys. There's no bad or good. It's just ideas.
Man, Mothra must have been super happy when Princess Leia took over the reins. Eh? She's like, fuck, no, don't know what I had to put up through. Shit, man,
Yeah,
next level.
yeah. So, how about you? What'd you get out of these 3 episodes?
Fuck, the rebellion's ruthless, bro. And the other cool thing too is, I mean, they're ruthless, and seeing the X-wing, it was like the first time seeing the X-wing in ages. Especially in this time of the rebellion, I was like, oh shit, they got X-wings. But I was just like still thinking about what I knew the rebellion to be to what we're seeing in Andor. I was like, far out. Ruthless, bro, straight up the nuts.
Well, it's Saw. Saw
Mm.
Guerrera has the X-wings.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So is that where the X-wings come from? Well, was it him? Was it his guys?
I don't know where they came from because I remember they dropped their bomb on us in the trilogy movies with the Skywalker. Where they're saying that people will fund whoever gives them the money or the credits they call it, and like these guys will buy designs from both sides.
Hmm.
So you didn't know where that, but yeah, I was just out of it seeing the X-wing and I was just being reminded of what I knew the rebellion back in the day as a kid. To
Yeah.
now what I watched it on Indo, I was like far out, but it's out of it. It's cool.
And that's interesting because you just reminded me of the problems these two agendas have. Right? We know the Empire wants this mineral, but then they have problems. Remember that scene when they have a meeting and they want to sort out what the problems are, and the guy said they're arresting too many people,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
they might
like
have, they don't know
overcrowded prisons.
of kind of prison. They don't know how to extract the right information if they're arresting too many people. They can't process them fast enough, right?
Yeah,
So that's their problem with the rebellion. The problem there is that there's too many scattered rebellion people, and they need to put them together. But there's also all the spice shit that's all around the place. Like when um um Clea, I think her name is Lufen's the girl that works
yeah. At
for
the
him
at the store.
at the store.
Yeah, she was always listening to the radio. She's man, I like her character. She's
Yeah,
pretty
she's
off.
pretty cool. When she argues with Lufren about having that bug, they need to take that bug. Um, Lufren goes on a rant and he actually talks about what the problem is. Is that there's too much information. They got information here, information there. How can we sort all this shit out? We got spies doing this, spies doing that. We don't know how to sort this out. There's too many.
Yeah,
They haven't organized properly,
yeah.
and that's the
Because
problems they face now. And that was interesting to see.
because it's only those two getting all the information, all this. So they might have these microphones spread out through the city, with major players that they think they might be in joint with the Empire, and they can't filter out all this information properly. So it's like
Yeah, exactly.
they're drowning. Like he was saying, we're drowning.
We're drowning.
There's too much information.
And this is what makes Andor so special because it talks about all these little problems. These are things that you wouldn't even think about, but these are real problems. These
Yeah.
would be real problems that you would face. Like with Saw, his mission is to get fuel. Where do the rebels get their fuel from to fuel the X-wings? Like, how do they get unlimited? How do they get fuel? Like, these are things you don't think about,
Especially
right?
when they got no money, no credits.
Especially when you got no money, you got no credits, right? So they're Andor's filling in all those little gaps, all the questions you might have when you watch Star Wars. When kids watch Star Wars, how do they get the petrol for that?
Yeah,
How do they get the money for that? How do they build all these X-wings? How does the Death Star get made? Because the Empire's trying to build it, right?
It's funny you should say that. My daughter asked me that once when we were watching the old school Star Wars.
Mm.
So watching it, goes, "Oh, Dad, where did they get the money to make all the ships?" And like at the time, I was like, "I don't know," but now we have the series, we got to kind of explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
It's like, shit.
So I think those are Easter eggs. They're not Easter eggs, but I think there's little bits of, and that's what makes great writing. And Tony Gilroy, he's the man in this say because he's captured all of this. He's captured all of this stuff that you don't think about, but might think about. Kids might think about. Ask a stupid question, but there is an answer to your stupid question.
Yeah.
Right? And this is covering it. So, and that's why I say it's complicated because there's a lot of things in here that the show is covering that seems small when you talk about it, when you pitch it. Like, what's this program about? Oh, it's about when you're writing it, the rebels need money, so they need to do this. The rebels need to organize, so we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
The rebels need fuel for their X-wings, so we're gonna do this. So
Yeah, I guess that's how they could have created all those scenes.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's still diabolical. Like shit, all the shit they had to go through to get to where the rebellion ended up being.
Mhm.
They look like a bunch of happy guys, but this rebellion is not. It doesn't mirror that. It mirrors something completely different. These are the guys that sacrificed for the better.
And that was, and even those scenes with Bix and Cassian. So I think to Lufren, these guys, even Cinta, And those guys, Kaz and Bix, to him, they're soldiers.
Yeah.
And they understand that, right? You're a soldier, you go out there and fight. If you have to sacrifice, you have to sacrifice. You gotta do what you gotta do for the cause, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the problem with Cassian, he got pissed off because Luthen came and talked to Bix, right? While he was gone.
Yeah.
But this is Cassian trying to figure out if his team is got the right mindset still. You know, if you got your soldiers and they're playing up,
Yeah.
and you think they're not gonna do the job that you need them to do, you gotta find that out, right? You gotta find shit out. You gotta find it out. You gotta go to yourself and find it out. Now, I think his move to go and cause some drama between, if he wants to test out the drama, like if there was drama, like what he did when he went and talked to Bix, he wanted to set up some drama, right?
Yeah.
Between Bix and him and Cassian. He'll do this and go back to the store. Now, if he's right, if he thinks something's wrong, Cassian will come and see him.
Yeah.
And when Cassian does that, Luthen will know, bro, you're supposed to be a soldier, man. Stick to the plan, man. What's this? It's not about love, man. Like, who cares if I came over? Like, he's testing.
Yeah.
He's testing the soldiers.
I had
You know
that
what I mean?
prediction. Yeah, I had the prediction when I think he was trying to figure out Bix's mental state.
Yeah.
He was trying to see how bad she's fucked up. But
yeah, exactly.
Like you said, until thing came over, then he knew that she was fucked up. So I think that's why he gave them the mission that they got on the last episode of this chapter. I think hopefully he hopes there'll be some closure for Bex, some mental healthy, hopefully there's some mental good stuff that happens with that.
But it's also a risk. Because Cassian going over to the store is a risk. If anyone spots Cassian going to the store, they'll put two and two together and know there's a rebellion. Because the other objective here is to keep the rebellion, to keep the rising of the rebellion a secret.
Yeah.
Luthen will do whatever it takes to keep it a secret. He will kill to keep it a secret. It doesn't matter who it is. He'll kill that person to keep it a secret. Just like he killed the senator dude, the friend of Mon, right?
Yeah, they even noticed, like, in the first episode of the second season, they had some suspicions of some of the stuff that was going missing still. And you remember that one of the sergeants were going back to Deja saying, "Oh, I think there was suspicions in about the equipment missing, going to the rebels. Might be, you might be right." So they are still suspicious, but they're not quite. They haven't put their finger on it. But Deja, like you were saying, she's trying to piece it together. I think she's on the right path. But now she's off her path because Kenrick wants her to do this side mission.
Yeah,
on Gorman. Right. So she's like, "Oh fuck! Oh, now they're going to follow this guy around." So yeah, it's kind of messed up her plans. But the benefit for the rebellion.
So Krennic shows up in the last episode now. So they're at the party, and Luthen and Keela, they need to take off that bug, otherwise they'll get caught. And that was a intense sort of scene. They got that their spy, the Imperial spy, Young, and he's scared because they might get caught. But Keela, she's good. Eh? She's like calm. She knows what she's got to do.
Yeah, she's the man.
She's like telling Young to move to your left to hide what she's trying to do. She's showing them how to use the sculpture while trying to undo the bug underneath, and she can't. She's stuck, and her hands are bleeding. But you know what? Also cool about that scene is Mon and Krennic getting into an argument. Eh?
Bro, dude, he was busting her balls, man. and Mon didn't like it. Eh?
Yeah,
just like, "You motherfucker." You can just see it under her mouth, under her breath. Just wants to fucking rip into that guy.
Man, they've got that spy in the Imperial of Young. I think he's gonna die.
Bro, that guy is fucking jittery ass, man. It's like sweating balls. Man, if he was just like Luthen's secretary, fine, you'll be all good.
Mm.
But it was cool, like how she was trying to have a cover story.
Yeah.
So she was trying to recite what the actual art was to him, and he kind of picked it up. So it was lucky she actually kind of saved his life in a
Yeah.
way. But it's really out of it too, like how the soldiers react to Kenrick when he's around. They're like absolutely terrified of the guy.
Mm.
It's like he's the emperor.
He looks like a dick guy.
Fuck yeah, he is an asshole. Fucking
Remember when he
giant
went to
asshole.
visit Darth Vader and Darth Vader sort of choked him a bit?
Yeah, I think even Darth Vader doesn't like his ass.
I don't think Darth Vader should show up, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, if he does, there'll be a total shock. I don't think it'll be a shock if the emperor shows up because he's into that kind of stuff. Eh? Trying to see if everything's going okay to the plan
Yeah. Yeah.
as he
But man,
foreseen.
we're just talking about what happens, but automatically, there's a different kind of Star Wars. Hey, we
Right.
never see this sort of stuff.
Nah, it's like
It's totally different, eh?
yeah, it's really the Game of Thrones of Star Wars.
True that, eh? But then,
It's
if you don't follow the plans and the machinations these characters are doing, then you'll be lost, eh?
yeah,
I mean, you actually gotta like concentrate when you watch. You gotta listen to all the conversations happening because it's got to do with the story, and because you'll get lost if you miss an episode, eh? You don't know what's going on, eh?
yeah. I think that happened with my brother when he was watching because he didn't finish the first 3 episodes, so he didn't understand what was going on in these next 3 episodes. So it's that type of program where you have to watch everything to get the story. But with some programs, you can just watch it, and it'll be a standalone episode.
I think when it comes to Cassian, when you look at last season, where Cassian was, he's well and truly in the rebellion. He's doing the causes, but I think he still has to learn stuff. He still hasn't got to Luthran's level. Hey,
Yeah, he's still thinking like Lutheran said. He's still thinking he's not thinking like a leader yet.
that's right. Like Luthran said, I think when it comes to Rogue One, he is Luthran. Hey,
Yeah,
because remember in Rogue One when he first shows up, he kills that dude. Otherwise, he'll get caught.
Yeah,
remember?
Didn't even think about it.
No, he didn't. He just killed that dude. So that's Luthran. Hey. So that's his character arc. This is Cassian's character arc. Season 1, here's Cassian trying to figure it out. Now he's started with the rebels. He's been a soldier now. He's not quite up to Luthran's level because he went to the shop to argue with Luthran because he was pissed off. But that was the test, right?
Yeah.
And this was cool about the writing of this whole thing because here's Luthran trying to figure out if Bix is okay. At the same time, he's gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Figure out if Cassian is okay.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if he pisses Cassian off, Cassian comes and jeopardizes the whole thing, showing up to the shop.
Yeah.
Then he knows that Cassian's not strong enough to see the big picture and go argue something small when that's not the the big picture is this. And that's what Luthran is. He's a big picture guy. He's playing chess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the difference, right? That's the difference. And I think Mon needs a guy like Luthran to handle all this. If you don't have Luthran in your corner, you don't have the rebellion, I think.
Yeah, yeah. She would have been definitely long gone if that didn't happen. Because you see how thorough the Empire is, even in the security work, like how they check everything, eh? How they picked up what's Deidre's partner's name again?
Cyril.
How they picked up part of his whole communications department and just tore all the computer parts just to find a microphone. I don't know if there was a setup or not, but you know how thorough they are. Guys are crazy. So if you don't have Lutheran in your corner, because he's so paranoid, just like Cassian, man, you'll definitely lose the plot.
Deidre's plan to infiltrate rebels to get them on their side is working. They've started that and it's working.
Yeah.
She tells the plan to Krennic last week, and Krennic agrees, and now they put it into plan. It takes a year, right? So Cyril's been on the planet for a year, working, getting the trust. He's seeing the rebels over there, And this is how dumb they are, because they let him in easy. They figure he's the informant, right? They bug him, and then when Cassian comes down to see what's up, they think they're all like, they think they've got the upper hand. They tell Cassian, "Oh, we've got an inside man. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. Don't worry about it. We got the inside man." But this is how smart Cassian is. He says straight away, "Yeah, but they might be feeding you the wrong answers, you know."
yeah. Because that's how paranoid he is, eh? He always thinks about like everything. He's so
Is,
paranoid.
is this guy reliable, or is he just feeding you some eats?
Yeah, I'm sure once he sees several, he'll be like, "Holy fuck, I know that guy. You dumb fucks. You hired that dude." I was like, "Bro, you would have said, I told you so."
And it was just funny how they rejected Cassian after that. There.
More like he rejected them first.
Hmm.
Because he was just looking at their whole plan like, nah, fuck that. That's why it was funny when you got on Luffy's ship and he was like, nah, don't even waste your time.
Yeah.
And Luffy's like, but nah, there could be a great cause to the rebellion. Thinking that if they were a sacrifice, you know, this whole thing about burning brightly.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh.
Because in a way, they're doing to the Gormans what the Empire's doing to them as well.
Yeah.
The Gormans are just used.
Yeah.
They're used for their both political agendas.
Political agendas, yeah. For the rebellion or the Empire. I was like, fuck.
Fuck. And you know,
I feel
being
sorry for them.
France, like you know how they're French.
Yeah.
They're speaking French. They got the French berets, and it looked like the French resistance in World War II. That's probably the way it happened for the French resistance in World War II. It's been used by the UK and America, like you know, like the same way. So,
Oh my
wow,
gosh.
this is great writing, man. You know.
Yeah, I was like, look, when I was like, did I hear that right? Very brightly. I was like, oh my gosh, there's no good guys in this program.
No, and that's what makes it cool, man.
Mm.
So you know the good and evil that we get out of Star Wars, man, it goes out the window when you watch Andor, man.
Yeah,
There's nothing. There's no such thing as good and evil. It's just one idea versus another idea.
yeah, it's like bad, but really bad.
I mean, what if Palpatine didn't like the way the Republic was running the galaxy and thought his way was better?
Ah, he'll straight strangle everybody with the Force.
Yeah. So you know, the more you get into Andor, it was almost like we had to get to season 2. All the action's happening in season 2.
Yeah,
For me, anyway.
yeah,
Mm.
it is. There's a lot more action.
I was sad when Sansa died. Fuck, she was mean. How she flipped over the tank, put the bomb there, and flipped away.
Yeah, and then just got shot by accident. Fuck.
Because he had a gun, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to.
Wasn't supposed to have a gun.
That was her whole thing about them listening to authority. Because I don't think they were used to it because they've never been told what to do before. And I think being told by a stranger from another galaxy, they're like, nah, fuck, we do it our way. And they fucked up.
You know what I was sad when Sansa died? But I was thinking one of them gonna die. Because they had their like sex scene, their kissing scene together. And they're like they just sort of reconcile with each other, eh?
Yeah.
So every time that happens, you know something's bad is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I thought one of them was gonna die, and one of them did. But man, you know that scene when they were going back in the tank, and Valsh was telling the guy off, hey, like I like that scene, man. That was good, eh?
That was hard, bro. That was straight hard.
But it was hard, but man, that's the way it is, man. That's reality, man. Like, why are you fucking crying for? You're the one that shot her. Why are you crying? Like, you're a fucking child, like, you know?
Busting balls, man.
You better, like, you're gonna remember this for the rest of your life, man. This is your stupidity. That's what your stupidity has done. Killed someone.
Yeah. Her whole speech, hey, it's just like, man, it meant a lot. Like what she said, yeah. Like, yeah, it meant a lot, hey. Everything she said was just bang on point. I was like, holy fuck, that's a heavy speech, bro. And you just fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's interesting because I don't know what's going to happen next with that storyline.
Yeah, I was really like with the introduction of Saw. That guy's really crazy, eh? Is he smoking the fuel or something?
Well, in Rogue One, he's got oxygen mask. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's sniffing the petrol or some shit. Like he's getting high on the fumes.
Mm.
I don't
But
know, but
even that last scene in episode 2 when he kills the trader, and that was an interesting scene when that dude was talking to him before that when you're sitting down.
yeah,
He was asking too many questions, eh?
yeah, and he kind of knew.
Like he said, where are we gonna take this fuel thing to?
Yeah, so he ended up telling him.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a setup. I think he had a fair idea that this guy is working for the Empire.
Mm.
Probably he thought it might have been the kid, but he wasn't too sure.
And then there was a bit of a test with Saw with that dude, eh? Because he was telling him a story while he was trying to fix the machine to the fuel pump thing.
Bro, that whole time I was thinking to myself, man, shut the fuck up, man. Let the kid do his job, bro.
Sorry, I was thinking the same thing, man.
I
If I was
like, man,
that kid, say, bro, can let me do my job, man? I'm trying not to blow us up here.
yeah, I'm working with some explosives, man. Shut the fuck up, bro. I don't want to hear about your history class. It's like, shit, man.
But then, he tested them too. Like, he
Under
sort of
pressure?
told him he knew he had to take off his mask and breathe in that air. It sort of was not oxygen there, like something else.
Yeah, it might be the fuel. That's what I was thinking. Oh, Willem.
Yeah.
Woman.
So you pretty much gave him the speech. So this is the speech that you give to people who want to join the rebellion, right? So you know how Lutheran gave that speech to Cassian? Remember at the end of season 1? So this is Saul's version of the speech to this dude, to join the rebellion, So you can see all the symbolism in that scene, Take off the
Wow.
mask and breathe in that same air as us, because then you'll be one of us.
Yeah.
It's like the initiation,
Yeah. That's the one. Flipping that guy's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm interested in why the X-wing fighters became the fighting ships for the rebellion, just like the TIE fighters are for the Imperial.
Yeah,
Imperials,
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know how that came about, but it looks like Saul's team were like pilots in that somehow.
Mm.
Maybe they weren't the best pilots. Obviously they weren't, but you can obviously see there's some X-wings in there, so I don't know how they duplicate their technology.
And we talked about some of the adult stuff here. We talked about implying sex, rape, and homosexuality. Those lesbian scenes, but there's also drug abuse and Bix.
Yeah.
She's getting
Fuck,
into
she's
the
a
drugs.
cracky.
Getting into the
Crackhead.
drugs there. Bit of a crackhead. Damn. Getting into the real deal now in Star Wars, man.
Oh, right. That torturing things that she went through, it really like that fucked her up bad. So, man, if that's her way out, like just to give her a bit of comfort, then probably that's the way it's got to be now.
Or maybe when they killed him at the end,
You reckon she'll get better?
She even put the torture device on him, turned it up to the full blast.
Bro, and you saw that guy when she left the room, and how like like they had a countdown beep. It was like beep beep, and then it just stopped, and you just see the guy shaking in the chair. I was like, "Fuck, he ain't coming back. His body will be fine,
But
his
then
brain
they
will be gone."
put him out of his misery when Cassian blew up the place at the end there.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a mean scene when the security comes up to Bix. She just shoots the security down. I was like, "Oh fuck, how's she gonna cover that up?"
Mm.
And then Cassian blows up the top portion of the building. I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess that's how they gotta cover it up."
That's the first time I realized. But there's a scene when, because they look at the flash. Hey, there's a flash who tells them there's a mission.
Yes, yeah.
But that scene when they're looking out the window, when Bix is she's in the singlet. That's the first time I thought, fuck, she's Chagan. Yeah.
Hey, careful, man. That's Aquaman's lady.
Is that? Is that Momoa's missus?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So that's his missus, though.
True.
Like she is Chagan.
Yeah. So, yeah. So what else happened?
Yeah, we had the Empire trying to insert their plans to get the rebellions on the Gorman.
I guess it's character relationships, eh?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm loving Peele or whatever her name is.
Luthen's secretary.
Yeah, the secretary. She's cool, eh? Like you said.
Yeah, she's the man.
Young.
Real calm.
Young, I think he's gonna die, but maybe during the end. I think Bix is gonna die, eh? I think Bix might be the turning point for Cassian to get on Luthran's level.
Yeah, the interesting thing with that is how she dies. Is it because of Luthen or herself? It might be a bit of both. I can see how Luthen can use that to his advantage. Because I can see him doing it, no doubt. He'll definitely do it. If he thinks it benefits him in any way, for Cassian to be a better version of himself, and if that means for Bix to die, he'll get that done somehow.
Well, I don't think it's to benefit him. I think he is
only for the rebellion.
Benefit the rebellion. I think he'll do anything. He'll do anything to keep what they're doing a secret.
Yeah.
And to make sure the rebellion is something at the end of all this.
Yeah.
And it's sad to me if he does die, he doesn't see like you said before last week, the fruits of his labor. Eh?
Yeah, it'll be stink because he's going all in at the moment. Eh? He's all in
because there is a chance he might survive and live. Because we never see Mon, only in Star Wars, but never see her anywhere else.
Yeah,
so maybe Luthran's still alive somewhere. If he's not dead,
or partially alive.
Yeah, partially alive. I think that's all I got, eh? For this one, unless there's anything else we missed.
What else I'm trying to think through it in my head, but it looks like we've gone through most of it. I just don't see the doubt. Like, okay, if the Empire gets the rebels on Gorman to fuck up somehow, how does that make their job any better? Does that mean they can manipulate the people more or get them off the planet? What does that mean? If the rebellion on Gorman fucks up, how does that favor the Empire?
Oh no, they need those rebels to think they're winning, so they can use them to do what they want.
I see.
So they need an excuse to extract that mineral, right?
Yeah.
They need an excuse to go in to do stuff. So if they can make the rebels do something, they'll give the okay for the Empire to do whatever they want.
They have to apply it in a way where they don't know what they're doing, or the Gormans figure out that they're drilling the shit out of the planet. Because obviously it's going to make their planet a living hell.
But also, when Cinta and Val get there, automatically they're not part of those rebels.
Yeah.
And they'll think, where are these guys from? If they're not these rebels, there must be some other. Where are they from? Like, is a connection between a bigger like community of rebels?
Yeah, for Deja will be happy because then it will definitely say, it'll confirm things right for her.
That's right.
Oh yeah, fuck there is a rebellion
because
on a collective proportions.
That's right, because the mafia, American mafia. How they knew there was a mafia? The police knew, or the FBI knew there was a mafia.
How?
Because ever since there was just rumors, or are they really a mafia? I'm like, what is that? Like, we don't see it because it's secretive, right?
Yeah.
You know how they got caught? Because they had a meeting, and they're all there at the meeting, and the FBI took down all the license plates and saw who owned all these cars, and there were all these mob bosses around the country. And you know how they met? They must be all like alliance, like part of a whole big thing, organized like that. So they said, "Oh, there is a national mafia."
Shit.
Like before that, they thought they're all independent.
Yeah.
Like just on their own.
Same.
Yeah.
Must be the same for Andor.
That's right. So I think it'll be a way to, I think in Deidre's mind, to like snuff out a bigger thing here. Like she already thinks there's a conspiracy against the Empire she thinks there's a bigger thing going on. So if they
and
identify that Zinta and Val were not part of them from someone else, then they'll try to find out who that someone else is, and they'll
be
just
back
put
to
two,
Luffy.
back to Lutheran, back to Mon, and they're in
Yeah,
trouble. Because if you think about the rebels when we get to Star Wars, the rebels are running around the galaxy, base after base, trying to escape the Empire, trying not to be found. They call
yeah,
secret bases. Do you know why? Because they have got found out. The Empire knows there's rebels out there,
yeah,
so they have to come together and go run and set up shop somewhere secret.
yeah. That's crazy.
So Mon probably lost her house, her nice house she's got there. She probably lost her house,
Man,
everything.
I wonder how much. Like, she must be like rich beyond the stars. Like, she must have one of those planets from the Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Oh, your funds are opening up, meaning her whole planet of a bank.
Well, Skeleton Crew's after Return of the Jedi, so they won't know.
Yeah, but those planets have been around for ages.
Yeah, but they haven't been discovered yet.
You never know, they might have. I was just like, fuck, man. This is some major money we're talking about here, man. Shit. I all this equipment. But yeah, the Empire. Fascists.
Sweet, man. Looking forward to the next episode. See what goes on. All right, bro. That's us. That's for another episode of Channel 135.
Yeah.
Catch us next week for some more Andor. Chapter 3. I think 2 more weeks of Andor, eh? Then we're done.
Yeah, that's pretty quick, eh?
Mm.
So next week and the week after, that's it.
Yeah. So we'll get that over done with, and I think Last of Us will be still going. So we'll finish Last of Us up to episode 10, I think. 10 episodes. I don't know. We'll check. And we'll do we haven't done a movie podcast in a while, so we'll do Sundays since we both watched it.
Yeah.
Also, Thunderbolts start this weekend. Are you gonna go watch?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. One of my Joe's really keen to check that out. One of our mates is waiting to come with us and check it out too.
Oh, true. Yeah, I'll be keen to watch it. Yeah, we should talk about Thunderbolts too. All right, Luce, that's us,
All right, man. Sweet.
See you next week.
All good, bro. Thank you.